Hi, this is Dave Briskie, and welcome to this episode of Briskie Business. You know, keep the questions coming. It's been fantastic. As you know, it's your program, and if you'll keep writing me at Briskie Business at ENTV USA.com, we'll keep tailoring the program to your needs, your interests, and what you want to talk about. That's what Briskie Business is all about. And if you miss any programs, go find me on the ENTV app. ENTV USA app, and all the segments are living right there under Briskie Business. The program, as you know, is broken into these four segments, which is Brisk Business Basics, Brisk Buy or Bail, Brisk Bulls and Bears, and Brisk Best and Brightest, which is a real focus on mentorship. So I'm excited to have another amazing guest on this program. This man is a former NFL safety, three-time team captain. He played with the Vikings, the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Eagles. He co-hosts a podcast called Level-Headed with Mike Lindell. He's a devoted philanthropist. In fact, I've had the privilege as the ambassador for peace and sport for the U.S. Federation of Peace and Development at the United Nations. He's a former investment banker at a prestigious firm, and he's a current professor at my alma mater, I'm proud to say, Fordham University. And to top it all off, he's an ordained minister who is doing incredible works in America's prison system. And it is my pleasure to welcome Jack Brewer, CEO of the Brewer Group, to Briskie Business. Jack, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you, Dave.
It's great to have you. So take a deep breath. I'm going to grab a cup of my favorite coffee to get started. And look at this. I'm drinking out of a Fordham University mug. So we're going to get to that a little bit later in the program.
Go Rams.
You got it. So Brisk Business Basics. So before we get started, obviously we lost a great patriot. We lost Herman Cain. And why don't we just take 5 seconds to honor him with just a little bit of silence. He was such an amazing man.
Yes.
And Jack, I know you had the privilege, I guess I would call it, an honor, a high honor, to be able to speak at his memorial service. Tell me what that felt like.
You know, it was humbling. A man like Herman just meant so much to so many people, particularly African Americans who are pursuing business careers and trying to chase the American dream. He was the epitome of that. And he used to say oftentimes that he was the old bull and I was the young bull. And so that to be able to tell that story on our memorial that we had online earlier today was really special. You know, a man like that who is a true patriot, man, a legend, all that he's done in politics and business. And, you know, people don't know this, but Herman was also a minister. He was a minister, an associate minister at a church in Atlanta. And so, you know, this man was a man of God, and he just represented everything good about America.
You know, that's absolutely true. And we could use a lot of good in America right now, and as we always could have, but especially now, I think. And to lose a man like that is a great, great loss for the nation. But hopefully it'll help other great leaders be inspired and rise up with what he's done.
Definitely. I think it will. You know, when you look at what Herman Cain did, I mean, to be able to go in as a single franchise owner and then end up buying one of the most successful food chains in the country, Godfather Pizza, worth over $250 million. You know, it's truly special, man. And that's the story that we need out right now in America. People need to really see what chasing the American dream and the opportunity that this nation brings really does exist. And it still exists today. We got to keep fighting for that.
Absolutely, we certainly do. So you know that Brisk Business Basics is about the basic business principles. You've got such a unique perspective, and I think you could offer a lot of fantastic advice because of the incredible transition you've gone from a professional football field and then ultimately into business and having a wonderful career in business, in philanthropy, doing a lot of amazing things, Jack. What advice can you give to that athlete? Let's face it, most athletes, they don't last that long in these careers, and they need to look for a life after whatever sport they're playing. In your your case, it was football, but the inspiration and the advice is the same regardless of the sport you're playing. How did you make that transition, and what advice can you give to those out there?
It's really understanding that the same effort that you put into being great in your sport, you have to also put into doing things outside of the game. You can't shortchange yourself in any aspect of your life. You truly have to be holistic. And so whether it's taking care of your body, whether it's your spirituality, whether it's your work ethic, outside of your sport, everything you do, you have to do it at a high level. And professional athletes know how to do that. It's just about a matter if you're willing to apply it. And so for me, I was blessed. I was able to really accomplish a lot in school academically. And then I got myself around great entrepreneurs who could teach me and help develop me in things that maybe I didn't have access to or maybe I didn't have the knowledge of. But you have to continue to seek that knowledge and dream beyond just your sport. I don't care what sport you play. You're not going to do it for your entire life. So you need to always have that plan B and make that as big of a priority as you do your sport.
So what advice do you have to that young guy? It could go two ways, right? One that is aspiring to be drafted in one of these sports, and we know how hard that is. And all of a sudden, they've devoted their whole life to it. And there's more of these types of folks than not, right? That they just don't even find a career there. Then there's the group like you, right? That you were blessed enough to have a real career in the NFL, but still you're coming out fairly quickly. So in either case, what advice do you have for these folks that either aren't on that path or come out very early? What do you do?
Build your mastermind alliance. Go make sure you go and grab the book, Think and Grow Rich, read it and take it to heart. Because most NFL players, they fail because of the people that they're around, the circle that they bring in, and their circle of influence becomes who they end up being. And oftentimes they want to look out for people and assign people to do things that they're not really qualified for. So I always tell athletes, find people that are smarter than you. Find people that are experts that have already had success. Build your team full of people that don't need you. Build your team full of people that want to help you, and not for their financial gain, but in order to protect you. Because people like that exist. Dave, you're an example of someone like that. And there are so many other examples. And if athletes, no matter what sport they're in, if they really sought out and asked for advice, I really do think that they would get it from quality people versus just always trying to find people to be on their payroll. So it's about building that mastermind alliance so that you can actually fill the gaps on the things that you don't know, fill the gaps on the thing that you may not have access to. That is the key to success.
Wow, those are powerful words. And you're right, and I appreciate you even saying it. But I had a really, really nice relationship, still a very, very dear friend of mine, Mr. Drew Pearson, who had a great esteemed career with the Cowboys. And, him and I got into business together and did some amazing things. And Drew used to always say, he said, listen, while I was out there on the football field, you were learning about business. So I need to learn from you. And then we could use, the ability for him to open doors the way he could because of his persona, and I could leverage that. So when you have a partnership where both can contribute amazing things and lift each other up, then you got the makings for greatness in a company. And I think you're giving absolutely perfect advice to people. Surround yourself with the right people and keep doing it.
That's right. I mean, it's so important. I mean, you think about it, it's really the same concept that you put into building a team. It's no matter if it's sports or it's business, it's about filling your gaps and finding people that can do and take pride in doing the little things. It's not always about who gets the credit or, who gets the attention from everyone. You need that special teams player. You need that good coach, that assistant that helps you just study a little bit extra. You need all those pieces to the puzzle. And I think it's important that athletes put into practice what their organizations are doing as well.
So I know we're going to get to this in a later segment, but I know you've started an education program at my alma mater. I want to talk about that in the next segment, and I want to tee that up. I got to tell you, the advice you're giving is absolutely spot on. It's super impressive. It's no wonder that you were just on, Sean Hannity, that you're on Fox News. Why do you think there is such an appeal for what you've got to say to national audiences?
I think it's the perspective I have is just one that has been a blessed life where I've been able to travel. I've been able to experience how things operate, not just here in America, but all over the world. I've been able to do business all over the world. I've been able to play pro sports and know how it feels to have people wanting to give you the world and offer you the world and showing you favoritism. I grew up in a house where they didn't have much education. So I've lived in poverty. I understand how it feels not to always have, but to sometimes want. And so, you put all those things combined and, just being able to be blessed with so many great people. Dave, I mentioned you. I have dozens of other people like you who have made a positive impact on my life. I've been able to take that perspective, and God put that perspective in me early enough to know that when I was in college, I wanted to get my master's degree before I went to the NFL. And so what did that do for me? It showed me that I could reach just a higher level in school as I did on the field. And so when you live that life and you really truly build those relationships with people, you're able to articulate that. You're able to then teach and then to use your life experiences as an example that others can learn from. And it's just been a blessing to be able to be a part of so many people's lives.
Those are really powerful words, and I can't help but notice over your left shoulder the New York Giants helmet. My dad will be watching this program, and he's a diehard Giant fan, as am I, and I'm the only living probably Giant Dallas Cowboy fan maybe on earth. Anyways, listen, believe it or not, that went by like a snap. Your energy's infectious. We'll be back in a minute with you. This concludes this segment of Brisk Business Basics, and we're going to come back with Brisk Buy or Bail. I'm with Jack Brewer.
We are ENTV USA. Log on now and check out our live shows and subscribe. You don't want to miss this. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Linea Deportiva, a sports line. At 7 p.m., O Que Chisme, the best celebrity gossip show with Odi Abreu. At 8 p.m., Punto Final, another angle of news. 9 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, we have Alo Cortez with Tony Cortez. Tuesdays at 9 p.m., Dame Un Like. Thursdays, also at 9 p.m., De Noche con Roche. Fridays, 9 p.m., Mas con Mas with Raul Mascanosa. Every Wednesdays at 4 p.m., we've got Briskie Business with Dave Briskie. Followed by Inmigración en Fronteras with lawyer Irving Gonzalez at 5 p.m. This is our programming for ENTV USA from right here in Miami for the rest of the world. Con una vista, basta. Show some love and give us a like.
I was truly blessed to be a 3-time NFL team captain, and after 10 surgeries, caring for my soul and body has become a way of life. I am proud to offer proven solutions to help people of all ages with their overall wellness. From pain relievers to our revolutionary topical antibiotic to our full line of personal protective equipment, our only goal is to help you be well. Find our full line of products at brewerwellnessshop.com. That's brewerwellnessshop.com.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Stop the COVID-19. Maintain social distancing. The best way to prevent the sickness is to avoid exposure and to avoid exposing other people. Maintain a distance of 6 feet whenever possible and cover your nose and mouth with a handkerchief or mask when in public. Avoid hugs, handshakes, and big reunions as well as events indoors. For more information, please go to floridahealthcovid19.gov. This is a message from ENTV USA for the community.
Welcome back to Briskie Business, and this segment is Brisk Buy or Bail, and this is about the decision-making process. Everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong way, but it's always encouraging and inspiring to learn how other people make decisions and what their process is. I'm fortunate enough to have Mr. Jack Brewer on the program with me, with CEO of the Brewer Group. So Jack, welcome back on the program. So let's hear about what you do to make decisions. What process does Jack Brewer go through when presented, and I call it buy or bail, because as you know, every day we're presented opportunities. We can pass on them or we can go with them. What do you do? What is your process to make decisions?
You know, this has evolved. I haven't always been the best at being able to sit back, stay calm, and make a good decision. I oftentimes struggled with using the same approach I use on the football field as I did in business. You know what I mean? Going to get it, hitting everything hard, super aggressive. You know, I'm a defensive back and a special teams guy, so I love to attack things. And in business, you can't be that way. And I've learned over time to understand how to sit back, take a step back, and never rush a deal. And so for me, it's about finding my center. I find my center through my spirituality. Others may find their centers in other ways, but for me, it's always about reflecting and praying and asking God to give me understanding and discernment before I do anything from a business perspective. That usually calms me down. And then at least I can become aware of situations or things that I may need to be kind of aware of, but more understanding. If I need to dive in or dig into things, I can then go out and ask those questions. And I think another thing is always use other people's, get advice. Don't ever feel like you already know something, even if it's a particular business or an opportunity that you're a specialist in or expert in. There's always times that you may miss something or not see something. And so I've learned to take advice. And every time, even if someone gives me advice I don't agree with, I usually take something out of the conversation that makes me more comfortable with the deal.
Oh, that is such great advice, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And in this buy or bail decisions, I like to ask: has there ever been a situation where there might have been a buy decision that you wished you bought and didn't, or the flip side of that, a bail decision that you didn't bail on? I mean, you can go either way. Did it ever go the opposite way with you, and you go, "Oh, I wish I had done that"?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Citigroup stock right now, you see it at $50, and I know I could have bought it at $1. And I remember sitting in my chair. I had just retired from the NFL. I was working at Merrill Lynch, and I had owned a mortgage company before, so I fully understood the crisis when it happens. I understood the debt issues that we had with our LBOs and a lot of our securitizations that blew up. So I knew what Citigroup's balance sheet looked like. And I knew that Citigroup was worth a lot more than $1. But even though I knew that, I still didn't make the move. And so it was something that I always kicked myself on, because I remember thinking at the time, man, I should put like 50,000 in the Citigroup. Now do the math, Dave.
Yeah, it'd be a big number. And the funny thing is, as it relates to you, I know what chaps you more than anything is that there was a ton of people you could have helped with that money, because I know where your heart is, and that's why it bothers you so much. I don't think it's about the dollars. It's about your deployment of those dollars and who you could have helped.
100%, man. I just think about, like, I could have built orphanages, hospitals. I mean, you're talking about a 50-to-1. That's a big number, man.
Yeah, that would have been a big one. But you know what? You're still doing great things, so maybe it gave you even more drive to look back and still make those right decisions and do the things you do. You know, I like to talk about pivots, and this is a buy or bail situation here. And, you know, the people that use what they learned, like you learned on the football field, and you saw people coming out. And I heard about this, and we chatted about it, and you had to make a buy or bail decision. I don't even know how you put yourself in the position to do it, but ultimately you started a program at my alma mater, Fordham University, to benefit athletes, I believe, and you had to ultimately become a professor as well. Tell us about that. It's just so intriguing to me. What went through this process? How did you make the decision? And tell us about the program.
You know, it was actually a pretty big risk on my part, but it was one that I did have that discernment. I did take a step back and I evaluated. You see, in the National Football League has about 320 players every year that comes out into the draft. And over 70% of those players don't have their degrees. And so, you know, now you're creating this population of people that have been so blessed, you know, have abundance and able to make a good living, but they have never finished their formal degrees. And taking into account that they're playing college sports and they've never really been able to put the necessary time and focus into school because they're playing college sports. And so I always saw it as an opportunity. You know, like I said before, I got my master's degree before I went to the NFL, and I knew what that did for me. I knew that gave me a sense of freedom. I never felt like I had to play in the NFL. I always knew that I could go out and transition into a new career. Well, if you don't have your degree, sometimes you may not be that confident. And so I started this program actually at the University of Miami in 2013. And I came on and I was a part of a partnership. It really was not my program, but I was there. I took the bull by the horn and I went out and ran all the marketing and operations for the program and built it. Built the biggest program in the country for professional athletes getting their degrees. And so after a while, you know, things just weren't going the way that I thought they could. And so I made a decision to go out and do it on my own. And it was great. One of the best decisions I've ever made. I got to be at a university that, you know, spiritually aligned with me, being a Jesuit school. And then the Gabelli School of Business is just so amazing with the research that it has, the technology that it offers, and it's just a perfect fit being in New York City, that all the athletes can come there and get access to all the businesses and mentor opportunities that are there. And so it really has been well. And it was a huge blessing. Our first year got off with a bang. We partnered with Morgan Stanley. We partnered with Bloomberg. We partnered with the Wall Street Journal. And our athletes have been able to have so many unique experiences that we could have never done in Miami. We could have never done anywhere else except for New York City. And this campus happens to be right in the middle of the Lincoln Center. And so it really has been an amazing opportunity and experience for all the athletes involved.
That is so impressive. And obviously, Fordham's near and dear to my heart. And I love the Jesuit education and, what you talk about, that fellowship, that camaraderie that just is in the fiber of that incredible institution. I remember we would all go to church. They're so smart, those Jesuits, They knew everybody. You know what I mean? They knew everyone was partying. They knew that was a thing. And they were like, you know what? Rather than fight it, let's not have 10 o'clock masses on Sunday morning if we want the kids to show up.
Right.
we would all go to church 10 p.m. on Sunday night. Okay.
Wow.
That's when the mass was. All the brothers were there, and there was never an excuse. And it became a thing in the culture. And I tell you, those were some of my favorite moments of bringing in that type of closeness to God with your buddies, right? With your friends, right? With all of that camaraderie, all in the same boat, and all the sermons about what we were all going through. And I think to myself, everyone thinks it's these big things and this and that, but it's the little things within the fiber of these smart Jesuit folks with tons of wisdom to put themselves and this great Jesuit community in a position to win and help people like us lead that institution with value system and integrity and take away the excuses. That's what I love about Fordham, and I love that you're there with this program.
No, Dave, that's powerful, man. What a testimony, especially during the times that we're in right now, and you're looking and seeing, and you have to ask yourself, how many kids have that opportunity that you just mentioned? How many kids have that experience these days? And it really is what's missing in a lot of ways in our society. And just hearing you tell that story gave me the chills.
Yeah, and it gives me the chills just even recounting it and thinking about it. And so many of my brothers that I have and sisters from Fordham was rooted in that really, really important fiber of that institution. So good on you, Jack Brewer. Super proud that you're doing that program. And, I've got a lot of friends and relationships at Fordham, and I'm at a point in my life, if there's something I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we will make that happen. So this is going to conclude this segment of Brisk Buy or Bail, and we're going to be back with Brisk Bulls and Bear. It is my privilege to have Jack Brewer on Briskie Business. Are you looking for high entertainment and energy in your media? Download the ENTV USA app now. You're not going to want to miss what we got to offer. We are ENTV USA. Click and subscribe. Con una vista, basta.
Brewer Wellness Shop is proud to help the most vulnerable Americans. If you purchase a 10-pack of masks today for $8.99, we will donate an additional 10 masks. Shop with us at brewerwellnessshop.com. That's brewerwellnessshop.com.
Super Greens is a one-of-a-kind blend that's loaded with hard-to-find nutrient-dense superfoods. We've used what we've learned from our more than 20 years working with mineral-based nutrition to create one of the healthiest, plant-based nutritional products available. Each superfood was carefully selected so that it complements and enhances the others, helping to maximize Super Green's nutritional power. Next, we added a specialized fermentation technique to increase the bioavailability of each superfood. Finally, we put in powerful probiotics and enzymes for added digestive support to give you jam-packed nutritional support. Youngevity Super Greens, the highly alkalinizing super supplement that helps balance your body. It's the superfood-powered way to get more organic fruits and veggies in your day, all in just one scoop. Check with your Youngevity distributor to learn more.
Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to look it or feel it. Immortalium by Youngevity was developed to support your body's ability to age normally and healthfully. It's an advanced anti-aging supplement that combines the most effective essential nutrients in a cutting-edge, bi-layered and extended release tablet designed to support your telomere health and natural aging process. Telomeres are the biological clocks within your cells that form the protective ends of almost every chromosome in your body. Telomeres help prevent the chromosomes from deteriorating. The longer and healthier the telomeres in a cell, the greater the health and anti-aging benefits. Immortalium contains synergizing antioxidant enzymes and telomere health-promoting nutrients that are quickly absorbed to give your body time to break down the antioxidants and put them to work. Immortalium, advanced anti-aging support that can help fight the natural aging process. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to Briskie Business. This segment of the program is Brisk Bulls and Bears, and this is when we delve into the public markets a bit. And I've been having a wonderful, wonderful time, high-energy conversation with Mr. Jack Brewer, CEO of the Brewer Group, and we're going to bring him back onto the program. Jack, welcome back.
Great to be back with you, brother.
All right, well, let's get started. You've got public market experience. In fact, I believe one of your first moves in your career was with Merrill Lynch, I want to say. So you've probably got a little bit to say about the public markets and what you might think about them, and we'll get into your investment strategy in a minute. So tell us about getting started at Merrill. What was that like?
It was amazing. You know, for me, I was just leaving the National Football League. I was hungry. I had owned a mortgage company before during my playing days. And so I had a little taste of finance, but Merrill just completely opened my eyes. I remember I used to look around. I used to get to the office about 6 a.m. every day. And I used to be the only one there because I was used to getting up, going to practice every day. And so I put that same work ethic into my finance career. And it really did well for me. I ended up being the top 1% of my class. I was a true leader for my class, and ended up being able to start my own firm and really left there with a great understanding of the industry, of the business. And I was there during an interesting time because it was right before the market crash of 2008. And so I was able to kind of live through that unprecedented moment in time, and it really taught me a lot.
That's great perspective because we're going through those times right now. A lot of the graduates coming out in a difficult time. I remember 2008. It was hard to raise $1 in 2008 if you really needed it. But you took a path, and I love to talk about these paths. I try to tell people, get big experience. Get big experience before you go out and start your own thing. But you took that big experience, and you are CEO of the Brewer Group. Tell us how that experience dovetailed into the Brewer Group, and tell us what the Brewer Group is all about.
it really allowed me the ability to find opportunities within the public market space. For me, I never would like to be involved in just one singular transaction. I love the ability to be kind of agnostic and look at things from a macro perspective. And I wanted to put my skill set into something in the public markets that made sense. And so I started to invest in small companies. I love smaller companies. I'm not as big on, large companies that I can't really make an impact in. And so I look for businesses that, one, are making a positive impact on the world. That was the most important thing to me. And two, that could actually benefit from my skill set or maybe my network of things that I have access to, so that I could bring some type of benefit to the company. And so I've been able to create a firm that, invest, but at the same time, also strategically helps companies to grow and maybe to expand and just bring, different opportunities that can help the company flourish.
That's incredible, and congratulations on your success at the Brewer Group. So I asked this. I've been building a little Briskie Business portfolio on impact tips that people have given to me, or companies that they might be CEOs of that are public, and it's been interesting. I have no idea where this portfolio is going to go, but in today's world, as you know, there's apps. You don't have to invest a ton of money. I call it the play money. But, I got to imagine there's a few companies you got your eye on out there that you might think in these times might be interesting. Well, who do you got your eye on? Who's Jack Brewer's stock tip right now?
See, I always tell people, look at the products and services that you like to use. Look at the marketplace, and if you're in it for the long term and you're not in for, to trade in and out of a stock or a position, times like this is where you find those opportunities. I talked about missing out on the Citigroup trade, over a decade ago now. And I messed that up. I missed that trade because I didn't listen to my own logic, right? Whenever you have difficult times, that means you have opportunity. And you have to be willing to take that risk in the times of opportunity. And so for me, the airlines offer a very good upside right now. Also, even some of our food companies. I mean, we have some of our food companies that have been beat up, brands that we all know will come back. Also, our hotels. Our hotels, I believe, they will also come back. So any industry right now that has taken a beating in some of these markets just because of the coronavirus, I think that is where you want to put your money now for the long term. I say bet on America. Once we find the vaccines and once we kind of bring some calm to this storm that the coronavirus has caused, I think you'll see your portfolios grow.
I think that's great advice, and I agree with you. I think they're there, and we actually had some individual stock pickers. I like that you went after industries, right? It's a little easier to pick an industry than an individual company in an industry, so that's good advice, I believe. And, you also mentioned these tough times and COVID, and the times are tough just with what's going on out there. And you and I discussed this off mic, my relationship with Drew. And, what the heck is going on in our world? Why can't we have conversation anymore? And why can't people sit there and disagree with one another and figure out how to get along? Some of my best conversations, what I've learned tons with Drew Pearson, with you on that famed trip to Guatemala, and Rohan Marley, to learn, to be able to tell jokes together, to even though they may be, quote, off color, if you know what I mean. And we had such a blast. What has happened to that in our country?
You see, you can talk about business a lot of times. We can talk about other things that don't bring our emotion into the conversation. And I think, unfortunately, so much in our society now is about identity. But identity shouldn't divide us. Identity should unite us. But if we continue to allow rhetoric that tells us that identity should divide us, whether it's the color of your skin, whether it's the sex, whether it's your religion you choose, whatever identity category that you pick, right now in our society, that is dividing us. And in reality, it should be creating more of a desire for understanding. It should be creating more of an opportunity for us to learn and discuss from our differences and embrace them and joke about them. We can't have so much emotional buy-in to identity that we lose our real humanity. You know, humanity tells us that we are all one blood. Identity tells us that we're separate. Which side are you on?
Unbelievable words. And you're right. You got to be able to joke about it, because that's how tension is broken, right? There's a reason why we say laughter is the best medicine. We got to be able to cut up. We got to be able to deal with our stereotypes, know they exist, and be able to joke about them, and then be able to explore deeper. And I think that's what's great about some of the programs you've put on. The mixture of people is so incredible. Everyone leaves these events that you've put on with the Brewer Group that's really for greater good of people or for charity. But at the end of the day, the camaraderie from the different genders and races that come together and learn about one another is so valuable, and it's so needed in our country. And I'm only bringing this up with you because it's time to encourage that and encourage that more and more.
No, I couldn't agree more, man. And it's great that you're using your platform to talk about things like this, because these are the uncomfortable conversations for a lot of people. But you know, anyone watching, you know, you see a white guy, you see a black guy, and we can joke with each other about anything. And when we leave each other, we're going to still be laughing about it. And you got to be, you know, you can't be so emotional. You can't be so attached to your identity that you can't have these types of conversations. And at the end of the day, break bread and laugh and have each other's back. Because I know, Dave, some of my best friends are white guys, and I know just like some of your best friends are black guys. And, you know, color and identity just doesn't exist with us.
That's because the relationships are real, and that's where it really goes. I'll tell you a funny story, and you'll appreciate this. And this happened recently, but I learned it from Drew Pearson. So Drew Pearson said to me, so I was telling a story, and I was with a group, and the group happened to be black and Hispanic that I was with, and, you know, a couple of white guys, and we're sitting around, kicking around. And I said, yeah, and Drew told me about being late, and he said he's late all the time. I said, dude, you're always late. He goes, yeah, CP time. And I'm telling this story, and they're like, CP time, and there was a Cuban there, and he goes, yeah, Cuban people time, right? And they're all looked, and I said, no, it's color people time, right? And there was 3 people there, though, that were like, what is wrong with you? I said, what do you mean? No, you cannot talk that. Now, the Cuban guy that said Cuban people time, I knew we were good, right? Because we were just joking around in this story. But there was some people that really was offended and said, you can't do that. And I said, no, it's the opposite. We have to be sharing these things.
Right.
This is not insulting. This is getting to know one another. This is loving one another. This is joking. And this is why you don't see the color barrier.
That's right. 100%, man. God bless you for that, Dave. And, you know, it takes guys like you to be brave enough to go out there and break those barriers, man, because so many people are hesitant on what they say, hesitant on their words, and at the end of the day, they're not real, and you can't really build real relationships without breaking those barriers down.
Who do you want relationships with disingenuous people?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And there's no such thing as a real relationship with disingenuous people. Jack, this has been a great segment. We're going to come back with you in a moment for our final segment, which will be Brisk, Best, and Brightest. I'm with Jack Brewer, CEO of the Brewer Group, and we're having a blast on Briskie Business.
I was truly blessed to be a 3-time NFL team captain. And after 10 surgeries, caring for my soul and body has become a way of life. I am proud to offer proven solutions to help people of all ages with their overall wellness. From pain relievers to our revolutionary topical antibiotic to our full line of personal protective equipment, our only goal is to help you be well. Find our full line of products at brewerwellnessshop.com. That's brewerwellnessshop.com.
Antioxidants are essential to protect your cells against the damaging effects of free radicals. Turmeric by Youngevity harnesses the power of nature to combat free radicals by delivering a potent boost of antioxidants known for their incredible healing properties. Sourced from certified organic turmeric root, turmeric contains 95% curcuminoids, the active compounds that quash free radicals. Turmeric has been used in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine for thousands of years to promote both heart and brain health, as well as its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. We've also included a botanical blend of phytonutrients that include flavonoids, carotenoids, and sulfides. These natural, plant-based chemicals are powerful contributors to overall health and well-being. Turmeric, the organic antioxidant supplement from Youngevity, formulated to promote optimal health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Hi, this is Dave Briskie, and we're back with Briskie Business. We are having a blast with CEO Jack Brewer of the Brewer Group, and we've been kicking it around. And this part of the program is Brisk Best and Brightest, my favorite part of the program because it's really honing in on mentorship. So let's bring Jack Brewer back onto the program. Hey, Jack, I always say this is the point we just grab a great cup of coffee, and you know coffee's near and dear to my heart. Of course, I'm drinking this out of a Fordham University mug, so I'm going to have to send you one, my friend. And so let's talk about mentor, and I'll send you the coffee too, but let's talk about mentorship right now. You know, did you have mentors growing up? Is that an impact in your life? And so let's start from there and see where we can take this segment.
Huge. You know, that's one of the passions that I have, and really what drives a lot of my social focus. As I look back at my life, and I was so blessed to have so many good people that set examples for me in different facets of my life. You know, starting with sports, man, coaches that really became more like father figures to me, people that I could look up to. You know, all from the time I was a little kid, you know, playing with my dad, and my dad setting in really in those that order and that discipline and that, you know, that knowledge to know that you should do the right thing all the time. And then when you have that perspective, it gives you a chance to be successful in anything, because you're going to always be there on time. You're going to always work hard. You're going to look your coach in his eye, and you're going to be selfless. And really, that's what it's about. You know, sometimes when you mentor people, you say, okay, what is my goal? Well, for me, my goal is to show another person or another kid or influence someone else to be selfless. Because if you're selfless, then you don't have to worry about a lot of other issues that may arise, because you're always going to put others before self. And you're always going to work hard and relentless because you don't want to let anyone down. And that's what football taught me. I mean, I went to college and played for Glen Mason. I went to the NFL. I got a chance to play for Tom Coughlin, Denny Green, Andy Reid, John Harbaugh. I mean, Super Bowl winning coaches. And I got to watch them run the league, run their teams and their organizations, run the practices. And I learned more about business and life from them than I did anyone else. So you talk about mentors, you really strike something within me, because I truly understand what the impact that a mentor can have on you and what you can learn if you put someone around successful people that can really show them the way forward.
You know, it's so powerful and it's so interesting, that influence, right? That mentorship. Obviously, you know, I'm close with Drew. We had him on the program and he talked about his relationship with Tom Landry, another one of the greats, you know. And boy, how fortunate can we be to have that influence? And I love what you said about being selfless. You know, I see egos develop. You know, I learned something from Sunshine. You know my wife. I know you've met, and you know where her heart is. And she said to me, "You know what ego stands for?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I thought I'm going to be smart." And she goes, "No. Ego is edging God out."
God out. That's right.
And that was such a powerful acronym. I've never forgotten it, but more importantly, I've never been so aware of when ego starts to fill in with somebody and they lose their selflessness. And man, if you can maintain that through life, your decision making is always spot on. So kudos to you for that. Are you doing mentorship now? I know you got the Fordham thing going. Plug for Fordham, right? You know,
right.
All my books are stuff I really read. You got the Fordham thing going. I mean, obviously there's mentorship there, but is there anything else you're doing with mentorship, Jack?
Definitely. So I'm blessed. I get a chance. I'm also not just with the athletes, but I'm also a professor and I minister in prisons around America.
Wow.
And I tell you, you take the most broken men. I minister at 9 prisons across the country. And you talking about broken men that are looking for that guidance. You're talking about men that may be 40, 50 years old that have never had a positive male influence, never had a father figure. And in a time in our country where fatherlessness is the crisis of our generation, it really is. You know, 77% of little black kids are born out of wedlock. You're 20 times more likely to go to prison if you don't have a father, and you're 6 times more likely to live in poverty if you don't have a father. You know, 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. So you go on, and all this is just people who need mentors. And so I run a program in Broward County and several cities, including East Cleveland. We also do work in Baltimore and other places. But I run youth programs trying to help bridge the gap for fatherless kids. You know, mothers who will beg you to help be a part of their kids' lives because they have no positive male influence. And so, you know, they're listening to music that may be getting into their mind. You know, they go to schools where they don't really have the discipline like we used to have when we were younger. And so there's really no one in the community that they can look up to. They can't afford to play sports. They don't have the organization. You know, they're closing down the community centers in most of these inner city neighborhoods. And so we really are in a crisis and a need for mentorship. And so I have programs that we run where we try to encourage people to come and volunteer after school. You know, from the time that bell rings to dinner time, you know, we have so many lost kids in this country. And so my program is called American Heroes. We just funded the entire Broward County to help the at-risk kids of this county. We also fund the Police Athletic League in West Palm Beach, where we help feed the kids every day. We feed them a meal. We partner with Feed in South Florida to help make sure we bridge the gap and bring some positivity to these kids. But yeah, I'm very involved in mentorship, man. And anytime I can spend my time serving these kids, that's what I'm doing.
You know, I feel it's such a privilege to have you on the program and hear you talk about this platform, because I know how much time it takes to do all the things you're doing. And you're such an amazing father, right? Just putting this program together, you had your son, Jax, as such a priority in making stuff happen, right? And we worked around that because you know
yes,
what?
You
can work around it, and it's the right thing to do, because no question in my mind, Jack's well-being is way more important than this program, and we've covered some fun ground, some needed ground, but let me tell you that you knew exactly where you were supposed to be, and that's the message that we need in America.
Amen to that. It really is. And, you know, if we all just keep putting the truth out there, you know, talking about these things that are holding us back as a nation, talking about the things that may be uncomfortable. You know, there's a lot of people that look at me like, why are you saying that when I talk about the fatherhood issue in America? Because they're embarrassed by it. Well, I've been there before. You know, I had my first 2 children out of wedlock. I understand what the difficulties are when you don't have a kid in your life every day. Kids need dads. Things will happen, obviously, that won't allow a kid to have a dad. But the kid that has a father has a much better chance at success. And all those kids that don't have them, there's a reason why throughout the Bible it tells us to serve the fatherless and serve the widows. The reason why it's saying that is because that is where the gap is. And if we don't bridge that gap, then we're going to pay for it in society, which is a lot of the reasons that we see what's going on in our nation now.
Well, you know what? You're so right. And I encourage the listeners to get on the Brewer Group .com website. We'll flash that up there, Jack, to make sure we have the right web address, because you got a lot of great stuff. The stuff you're doing with orphanages is amazing. You really are covering a lot of ground. In the last couple of minutes of the program, I think you've watched the program. You hear me talk about gap moments, finding that joy in life. You know what I do to do that. My wife and I, we have some rituals, and everyone on the program's told us, they're all drivers, they're all working tons of hours. How does Jack Brewer find joy in his life? What are your gap moments?
Man, my gap moments really is getting in the Word. Over the last couple of years, I've just gotten so much closer to God. And, sometimes spirituality, we think about it, it's like a state of mind for a lot of people. And what I was missing was really that Word of God. And then I read, John chapter 1 that says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And so once I took that in and really understood what John, the great prophet, was saying, it kind of flowed. And I started to understand that my truth is not really truth. God's truth is truth. Just like my definition of love may be lust, or my definition of love may actually be greed. So love is God, and God is love, and God's definition of love is truly what love is. And so so many things in my life, I've changed my perspective just because I've gotten closer in the Word of God. And so I try to, my gap moments, I try to spend in the Word because that is really what helps me. Just like in 2 Timothy 2:15 says, to rightly divide the word of truth, you have to be in the Word of God.
Super powerful. And I'll give you a little tip. I, as much as I'm a Fordham guy, Jesuit, Catholic upbringing, all of that great Christian stuff, I never really did any deep Bible study. And my wife reached out to me, and through COVID, we did a Bible study together on James. And I tell you, you want to get closer with people that you love, you want to get there and uncover some great stuff. I'm with you on the Word, my brother. It's brought us closer together. It's been meaningful. I love what you're doing. I'm always going to be here to support you. This has been a great show. Thank you, Jack Brewer, for being a part of Briskie Business. And, let's do this again sometime. I've had a blast.
Anytime, brother, man. I look up to you as a mentor in what you're doing. And I appreciate you, Dave.
Have a great day. We'll catch up soon.